Well, hello there, and welcome back to Chapter 15 of my Minecraft 1.14 Let's Play. I'm here in front of the squid farm that I set up last episode, and I accidentally AFK'd here overnight, which was bound to cause a bit of lag because there's not enough item storage from that much AFK. But what's really interesting is this right here. I have never seen so many pigmen in my life. I think some of them actually despawned, and there is just a massive number of them. I don't know if this is sustainable. Like, this is crazy. But I thought it was really funny. So I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it right now. I'm going to fly away so that these guys all despawn. But I think it's probably fine if I only AFK for an hour. I just have to remember not to AFK overnight at the thing again. Because, geez, that is out of control. I think it's time to start giving some real attention to this island and start making it look like it's actually a floating island. But I'm going to start over here on this building that I built 2 episodes ago. This is my storage system. It works, but it's obviously not finished. We have a lot of exposed walls, and the interior design is pretty bland and sterile. So I've gone into creative and I've mocked up a design that I think was going to work really well. And I've also made a few changes to the redstone to accommodate that design. So one of them that I made is back here. You'll notice there is no longer a water stream. It's a bunch of hoppers into a dropper elevator. That fit the design. It's less bulky than the water stream was. I know I spent quite a while talking about the merits of a water stream, and then I've basically ripped the whole thing out. But there are definitely some merits to this as well. It's a little less bulky. It doesn't go up as high, which is important. I don't want to make the roof any higher than it needs to be, etc. And then I had to move back the sorters here 1 block. So the sorters are back 1 block so that the hopper chain can be back 1 block there. And then we've got, I've moved the hopper chain up here as well so that I'm going to have a glass roof over this section in the middle here because I think it looks kind of nice to have a glass roof. So I had to move these hoppers. They kind of move and bend around it. And then lastly, I have come over. I think I'm stuck. I'm going to have to fly out of here. And I have removed all the pumpkins from the redstone back here, and I've replaced them with sea lanterns. Pumpkins were used where they could actually transmit redstone, and the sea lanterns I've moved to a different spot, so it's still providing light. They don't transmit redstone, but I'm going to have some, again, like I did over here, I'm going to have some exposed redstone behind glass walls, and the pumpkins didn't look quite right, so I've removed those. So there's a few other things I'm going to need for this build, and the first of those is cactus. And I don't have too many cactuses. I have cacti. I have a couple stacks, but I think that's not quite going to be enough. I don't need a whole lot more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build just a tiny little cactus farm here. And we should be able to do like 4 by 4, something like this. I think this will work pretty well. Those glowstone positions worked out perfectly. And then we need some kind of floor here. We'll just put glass here. And then we need a wall all around it like so. Alright, so there's the wall around it. And then we need some water. Got the water ready. So I think we can just do 1 water in each corner. And I think that makes the streams come out perfectly. Not sure exactly how this water pattern works. There we go. Now everything should go right into the middle where we can I'm just going to place a hopper for now. I don't think we're going to get more than a few stacks. We get like 3 per hour per bush. So, you know, it's just kind of while we're working, we should get some more cactus and stuff like that. And that's the idea. I don't want to overdo it. I will eventually, probably sooner than later, set up a true cactus farm that's this basic design, just taller. And then we need some, I forgot a piece, we need some fence post or something like that. Do we have any here? Yeah, we got plenty of them here. And then I think I should have placed those before the cactuses. We'll see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I got to place something underneath the fence post first and then the cactus. Not a big deal. We'll just go back through and place the cactuses after I'm done. Alright, there we go, nice and simple. When they grow, they can't have this block next to them, so it'll break off. Most of the time it'll fall and land in the water. Should create about 3/4, half a stack or something like that per hour, which should be decent enough for all my basic needs right now. The next thing I need is a whole bunch of concrete. Like these builds over here, this build is going to be pretty much all concrete. And it's not as tall as the other buildings, but it's quite a bit bigger, so it's going to require quite a bit of concrete. Now I've got a concrete maker that I showed in a previous episode back there at my old base, but I am done going back and forth between those two. Basically the only thing that's there anymore is the iron farm, so I can go back there if I need to grab more iron. And there's just a nice looking building, and that's about it. So I want everything to be centrally located, close to my storage. This is where all my items are. So I want a concrete maker that's close to here. Fortunately, I have some room back here. So I laid out the floor plan of where the building's going to go, and there's quite a bit of room. The concrete maker isn't super big. And so I'm actually going to put it here, and it's going to be a permanent fixture. I'm going to have this doorway here that I can get into it and use the concrete maker and then leave and go about my business. So I'm going to place it in here, and it's going to stay there probably forever. I may eventually set up a concrete maker with like a TNT blast chamber or something like that, but I'll still probably want a smaller concrete maker for small jobs and stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to set it up here. Again, it's one of Cubfan's designs. Put a link in the description again, and I'll be back when I've got that built up. Alright, machine's all set. There's really not much to it. It's basically just a method of having it spit concrete powder out to you as you're working so that you don't have to keep switching your inventory around. And I can keep gravel and sand right here, and then I keep a shulker box full of dye right here in my ender chest. I'll be looking to expand that to where I have at least a stack of each in there. And then there's a crafting table right here. So if I only need a few stacks of concrete, then everything is right here and ready to go. And if I need more than that, I might need to bring extra dye and extra gravel and concrete. But for the most part, it's a super simple, self-sufficient machine. So now I get to make a whole bunch of concrete that I'm going to need for this build. I've got a whole bunch of concrete made up now, and it's time to get to work on making this building look good. I could watch that time lapse over and over again. Let me know what you think about it. That was the longest time lapse I've done so far, but there was a lot that went into this build, and I wanted to capture every bit of it. But man, I am just so delighted with how this turned out. I think it looks amazing and I absolutely love every detail. I love these carpets. I love that I left it open air. And now I can fly into it, and I've got this raised area in the center that I think looks a lot better than just that little chest in the middle. And I absolutely love this cyan and the gray. I think it looks really good together. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think this looks really, really good, and I'm really happy with it. I forgot one little detail. I'll come back and make this a full beacon base at some point in the future. But for right now, I just want the beam because I think it looks really cool coming up through the center. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. Oh, hi guys. I set up these maps a little bit ago. You may have noticed them in the background a couple of times, but this is the closest on one. I'm going to need to update this one. See if we can do that. Oh man, that looks so cool. Oh, that looks crazy. Oh, that is cool. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to take the center point here, which I think is actually, so this is the water stream, the water elevator upwards. I think the center is actually going to be somewhere closer to here. And then I want to take and measure that distance from there to there and then add a few blocks. And then I'm going to construct a circle, and that's going to be the guideline for my floating island. It's not going to be a perfect circle. We're going to like make it all jaggy, and we're going to have some bulges that go out and some insets and stuff like that. But I think the circle is a good guideline. And if you notice from that circle, that it means we're probably going to end up cutting off this. This is the villager breeder. I think I'm going to have to move it because I think it's just going to end up being too big of an island if I just go all the way from here down to here. It's going to be an enormous island, and I just don't think it needs to be that big, let alone all the work it's going to require. Like, it's already going to require enough work for an island the size that I'm looking at. But I think it's just going to be too big overall. I think it's going to work better. I don't know if I'm going to move that this episode. I'll probably leave it there and deal with it later. But I want to at least get the structure of this island going and maybe get some land down and stuff like that. You may have noticed that I do need to do some terraining around this building and at various points around the island. But I want to get the shape of the island done first. So let's do that. So the distance from the center point over there in front of those cactuses to this point right here is about 95 blocks. So I think I'm going to go with a clean 100 and do a 100 block radius circle. So 200 block diameter. It's going to be absolutely enormous. But imagine if I went all the way out there, I'd probably be looking at like 256 or something like that. I think it's the right idea to rein it in just a little bit. Before I get too carried away with any of this, I actually want to set up another little mini farm. So let's go grab a couple of items. Just need a couple. And basically just need some blocks to stand on. I don't know if, yeah, that's plenty. And then some vines. I want to set up a little vine farm. I'm going to need some mossy cobble in order to make the underside of everything look good. I think they should be in this green area. So we got 22. That's pretty good. So maybe I'll just set it up as 11 wide. And I believe that I can only reach 6 high. So if I go 7 high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I shouldn't be able to reach this top block with a shear. So I shouldn't be able to accidentally shear off the top one. And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this would be 11. That water stream shouldn't really get in the way. And then we'll just place down these while we're up here. Let those grow down. And then I'll have to manually come and... Oh, that's unfortunate. I'll fix that in a second. But I'll have to manually come and shear these. And then I'll put a chest down here or something like that. But I want to get that going because we're going to need quite a bit of that. I've got the circle all laid out. It's not a perfect circle. If you've ever laid out a circle in Minecraft, you know that even a radius 20 circle can be pretty hard to get right the first time. And a radius 100 circle is another beast entirely. And you can see here where I actually missed completely and had to come back the other way, but that's not really important. We're not looking for a perfect circle. Again, this is just an outline, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to try and make this jaggier and more organic looking. This is what I've come up with so far, and I think I'm almost there, but I want to fix this area up here. I think it's just too smooth and round, and this area down here, I want to make those areas a bit more jagged like the rest of the map. Alright, I think I got there. I definitely think this looks like something that could have been formed naturally, and I think it's going to make a really cool shape for our floating island. And if you're wondering, I use glowstone because I have a lot of it, and it's pretty easy for me to replace, and by using it, I don't have to worry about mobs spawning on this giant ring that I've created. So the next step is for me to lay out a bunch of dirt. Now, I'm not going to fill in this whole island just yet because I don't know where all the buildings are going to go, and the dirt's going to be at different levels, and things are going to change. So anything, if I did any of that now, it would be a wasted effort. So instead, I'm just going to lay out dirt on the first couple blocks of this edge here. Turns out there's no way I could fill this whole island, even if I wanted to. I just do not have enough dirt. Doing the border here and then this section down here took me about a shulker box full of dirt. So I've got 3 shulker boxes left. And if I tried to fill in this whole island, I would run out very, very quickly. There's just no way I can fill in this whole thing. But I do have plenty of dirt that I can start doing some terraining and some paths around my storage center and a few other paths that I want to do. I think that'll help this island look a lot nicer. I think it's a good time to do a flyover and see how everything looks together. And see how this all looks. Oh yeah, I think the island looks really, really cool. I think that is definitely cool. There's probably a few areas where the grass looks a little bit overgrown, like over here. So I might want to cut back on that a little bit. And some custom trees and more trees in general would help quite a bit. I need to learn how to do some custom trees a little bit better. Maybe some practice will help. I'm probably not going to do it in this episode, but very soon I think some custom trees would help quite a bit. But I think this island, the shape of the island, is what I really want to look at. And I think that looks really cool. It's going to look better from overhead. Like that. Yeah, I think that's going to be a cool looking island once we get everything said and done. Alright, so the next step is to find the low point. And I don't think I want to go much lower than this structure right here. And I definitely think the low point needs to be somewhere near the center. There might be like an off-center low point at a few places and stuff like that. But I think the center is a good place to start. So maybe 10 or so blocks below this thing at the center, which the center is somewhere around here. So this thing's a little off center. I don't know if I'm going to end up moving it at some point. But, so I'm going to scaffolding up there. I've already got the scaffolding over here. I might just use that. And start that as a base. And then, man, this whole thing is going to have to get covered. So I'll probably set up a glowstone base, a grid, and then place scaffolding every 6 blocks on that grid going up. And then it's going to have to be at the lowest at the center, and then out towards the edge it'll be higher and higher. Let me get some of that laid out, and we'll see where we stand from there. was the end result of about 4 hours worth of work and 2 shulker boxes full of stone. I'm going to come back through here and replace some of the stone with cobblestone and mossy cobble and andesite to give it some variation. But man, the scale of this thing, like up close, this thing is massive, but compared to the whole island, I mean, this is actually pretty big, but compared to the whole island, man, you can barely, there's hardly even anything done yet. There's still a long way to go. I think what I'm going to want to do next is to come up to these edges and start building down and then meet in the middle somewhere. And that is going to take an awful lot of scaffolding, and I've already gone through a half a shulker box full of scaffolding. So I'm definitely going to need more of that than I had right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my sugarcane farm, and I'm going to replace all of this with bamboo. It won't be the most efficient in the world because we've got these gaps and the walls aren't high enough, so a bunch of it's going to fall off the edge. But this is going to fill several shulker boxes full of bamboo really, really quickly. So let's do that real quick. Man, this stuff grows fast. I barely even planted this. I got down to that end over there, and this is what this thing looks like. So let's go ahead and make sure this works. I don't remember if Ilmango said there was some sort of push limit issue, so I'm not sure if it can be directly switched from sugarcane over to bamboo. But it looks like we're good here. All right, cool. So this will work really well. All right, so that's all I got time for today. I never imagined I'd be able to finish this floating island in one episode. I just wanted to spend some real concerted effort on it and try and get some of the framework done and stuff like that. I think what's going to happen is this rocky part down here, I'm going to spend a little bit of time each episode working on it until we get close, and then maybe I'll put another concerted effort in trying to finish it up. But this is going to take some time. This is definitely not going to be built in a day. I've already spent quite a bit of time on this episode, and as you can see, we barely even touched the surface. So, look forward to that in the future, and until then, thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.